I'm Greg Washington, President of Patients Unlimited Marketing Consultants. I say that for the guests of this client training program. We're really excited about this session because it's the fourth in a five-part series of programs we put together to help you expand and enhance your practice in 2016. In this particular presentation, we're going to talk about optimizing and maximizing the results that you achieve by using videos on your website and in your internet and social media production. And we're going to be talking about the realities of how you have an option right now to post these videos on YouTube and VMO and some other video servers for what you would consider free. And we're going to talk about why it may not be as free as you think that it is, and also a missed opportunity that you could be achieving if you were to use the videos more creatively on your website. Now, there's no doubt about it that videos are becoming a very, very popular and useful media that's taking over. And this particular chart is showing you that Google and Facebook and YouTube and the rest, we're projecting that the day is going to come. We've been doing this for 20 years with internet, but we can see the day coming now that you will see videos replacing pictures and words on your website. So we're in different times right now, and we have to look at our opportunities very, very keenly to make sure that we're maintaining that edge that keeps us on top. So as I said, our theme is better results through engagement using best practices, meaning those things that work and have proven themselves to be useful, as the way to go, and not relying on your free offer from YouTube to host and run your website pictures. That's essentially the message of this presentation. It'd be useful if I were to define what a video is, because I think you'll be surprised at some of the variations of what you think of a video is you maybe haven't thought of. A video is essentially a sequence of images. They could be still, they could be moving. It could be with or without sound, and I'll show you some examples and give you some examples of videos that don't have sound and don't have moving images. And you're watching these many times on your social media posts, and you're watching it on other people's websites, and you've kind of taken for granted that, hey, that's a movie. And that's a movie that gives us an advantage of showing it and presenting it that there's no other way of showing it and presenting it on a website. If we're talking videos, the future, what are the benefits? Well, benefit one is called sticky. Another word for it is engaging or engagement. And what happens with a video, if it's put together properly, if the story is being told properly, if it grabs attention and is relevant, it keeps a person in one place. And if they're on one place, on one page, on your site, that's called sticky. And it turns out that in Google vernacular of SEO, search engine optimization, there's seven factors that determine good SEO according to Google, which is 86% of all search results today. And that is, does a person want to be in that place? Do they want to be on that website? Do they want to see that page? And when you send that signal through a person staying in that one spot, you're saying, I have a sticky website, or I have a sticky web page, because it's not a website that's indexed and presented, it's a web page. The second thing that a video does that's a significant benefit is that it upsells. Now, what do I mean by upsell? And it upsells through an interactive reaction that the viewer has with the website or with the video. Now, a video upsells because it tells a story in a very logical sequence. It doesn't have a lot of hype sound to it. It's just presenting the facts. And maybe they came looking for one thing that was a low ticket item and maybe not the top of the line of what you sell, but when they hear about the other features and benefits, they're inclined to want to go another step further. Interactive in the sense that you'll see, as I will give you some examples, how videos can be made interactive. You can actually have a URL embedded within a video where it can be clicked on while you're watching it. Or you can have a URL or a hyperlink underneath the video they can click on and watch. Or while they're watching it, they're going from page to page and they're coming back to that page, so it's interactive. they can talk to it, they can work with it. And then also videos drive traffic. Search engines are now incorporating videos into search results. So as your words in a website bring people to the phone and to your email box, so do videos, and they do it in a much more powerful and driving way. So I know you all have noticed that sometimes you'll search for flat screen TVs, or you'll search for an appliance or whatever, and you'll see a little video pop up. You used to see pictures, but now you're watching videos popping up. So those are the benefits of videos. Now, what kind of uses do we have for videos? I mean, what special purpose uses? Well, a video or videos can enhance the content of a website. It can freshen a page that hasn't been maintained in maybe a couple of months. It can give a page even more depth and content that a person wants to stay on that page. It can be used for patient education. It used to be a patient had to come to your office to basically come to a webinar, a seminar. I'm using right now my educational opportunity with videos to tell you my story. Videos can create a gallery or a reference center that you can send a person to through a tab on your website. Hard to do that with just one video, but if you have multiple there, you've got power. And the fact that there are multiple videos on that particular gallery or in that gallery that are linked, cross-linked to other pages within the website and cross-links to other images within the website, that page could be really one of the drivers for most of the practices that maybe aren't endowed with a very, robust website. Now keep in mind that doing and using videos on your website versus having them posted on YouTube with a link so they can play with a link from your website is extra work. It doesn't come with our standard services, and most of the companies in this business, that is the web hosting business and marketing business, don't provide it as a built-in because, one, how many videos do you have? Are all the videos properly prepared? Are they properly labeled? And also you have to link them to multiple pages that you also have to search engine optimize. So anyway, the gallery is a kind of a ganglion, using a medical term, or a nerve center, another way of looking at it, that could be a very powerful driver. Social media content, you can post videos to blogs, to YouTube, to Facebook. You can also use them in your reception area for patient education and in the rooms with tablets. This is a day when we don't see many printed brochures anymore because of the internet. But now we take the internet information and we put it on a tablet. You might have 3 or 4 tablets floating around in a very successful office. Might even lose one of the tablets. That can happen, but that's not a problem. Probably that tablet has made its money back just by one viewing, versus that person sitting in the queue or sitting in the reception area or sitting in the patient room waiting for the proper provider to walk in. They can be being sold to be interested in other services you provide. You can use your videos to drive traffic from YouTube, organic SEO traffic, to boost the success of your website. So those are our uses. Well, how do you produce video? What are the ways of producing videos? What are your options? Well, you have some videos already ready-made for you by your manufacturers and your suppliers. But the problem is it's generic and it doesn't talk about you. It talks about them. It talks about their brand. Well, we take those videos and we repurpose them. We put an introduction on there. Maybe the doctor introduces, or staff member introduces that service or that device or whatever it is being presented. We take it and make sure that your URL, your website address, is streaming across the bottom. Because again, these videos will walk into other uses by other different companies and businesses that will grab them, and they'll use it for their SEO power, meaning people will stay on their websites, but you don't get credit for it if you haven't properly branded that particular piece to meet your needs. So you can do the same with some of your media appearances. Don't just take it from the television station or the person that interviewed you and just post it right up there, because their brand is always going to be prominently displayed. The question is yours. So we might do in some of those cases there, we might, in addition to their brand, because you can't move that technically because it's their property, but we make sure your brand appears intermittently or off to the side or at the top, so that people know whom to call when they want a specific service or help. And of course, you can do it yourself. And I'm going to show you some do-it-yourself videos that are working powerfully well for some of our clients. Or you might want to hire a professional to create the video for you. So you have a lot of choices. Now, the question is, how do you create a video? So in other words, you can repurpose one, you can one on another, or you can create something on a specific service. But the most powerful of all the videos that we've done, the jackpot, are patient success stories. Those are the ones that work the best. So let's find some of those right patients and let's obtain their consent to use their image and their story on your website, in your post, on your social media, in your reception area. Let's get them to approve that they will allow us to do that. Once we've got them there, we've got to find the right environment within the office, something that's a beautiful part of the office. Maybe there's a little art in the background, a lamp, flowers, etc. Not under an air conditioner. And it's a proper environment. You may want to take them outside or maybe to a patio area. And of course, we've got the issue of environment, light, sound. You don't want to have wind blowing across your microphone. By the way, sometimes the less professional, if you will, a video is presented, meaning shaky camera, a little shake in it, but lighting's right, sound's right. Maybe it doesn't look like it's really done by a stable on a tripod, but it looks actually more credible. And actually people will look for those as being something that they believe in and will believe in. So you want to make sure you know how the camera works. If you don't, just hire somebody that does. Or let's use somebody that does. It doesn't have to be a pro, but we want to be sure we get it down right with lighting and with sound. And we want to script it so that, in fact, when we present the story, it has a logical beginning, middle, and end. And you want to rehearse that. And you want to help the patient do that. And if you give them instructions, I'm going to actually give you a handout that you can download, that you can actually see exactly what we're talking about giving the patient instructions. But you also want to give the patient something else. You're going to give them the time to find out the WIFMs, W-I-F-T. What's in it for them? Because if you haven't hit that hot button, you're not going to get the story you think you're going to get. But if you know what, and that's something that's in it for them might be bragging rights. See, all patients don't want to necessarily have it known they've had cosmetic surgery or cosmetic procedure. But the reality is many today look at it as a status symbol. You know, my surgeon, my doctor, my skincare specialist. That's a status symbol. So they want to brag about it. Some want to help you because you've asked them. You've said to them, you know, I have other patients just like you but they sometimes have hesitations about using our services, or they think it's too expensive, not worthwhile. But if you could tell your story, patient, if you can tell your story, that would help me. Okay, so we have to find out what their motives are and what their needs are as we're searching for those success stories. Again, you want to identify services you want to feature. Now, I'm using Botox as something you may not want to feature because it's not necessarily a profit maker, but it's a driver. And if you're going to present it in a way that it leads up to some other more intense or more powerful service, great. Or it may be something new. Sculpture is now one of the new trends right now. Now's the time to make money marketing a new thing without necessarily dropping your price. So you want to fit it into the service within your marketing plan and your strategy that you have for your practice this year. And you want to plan out the uses of that video or those videos, because it's not just the website. As I've said, it's got other purposes and other uses, and it makes that cost, that additional cost to do it yourself or have it made for you custom, worthwhile. And contact us if you have questions. We can tell you what's been working and what doesn't work. Now, I've talked about patient stories, which is down here. I'm going to get to this in a moment again. But a story, a video with the doctor talking, not just a talking head talking about general things, but about himself, why he became a doctor, why he's enthusiastic about what he does, what his hobbies are, his family. People want to see that. People will listen. That's engaging. A facility tour, and I remember I said I was going to talk about a situation where you might have pictures and no sound, or you might have videos and no sound. Well, here's a situation where you might have pictures and no sound, but it's a video that's displaying it, and you have no other way of showing a series or a sequence of images within a time span other than with a video. Or you might select a procedure that you want to demo. And I'm not talking about a blood and gut surgery, but darn it, don't do that. People want to believe, they know it's going to be surgery, but they want to believe it's magic. But you might have something that's not as aggressive, shall we say. Maybe it's a magic wand that removes hair, or a magic wand that removes wrinkles, or removes fat, and you have the smile on the person's face as they're having it done. And that's something you may want to feature and have a demo. A media endorsement. You've been chosen to talk about your service or a patient story and you happen to be in it. That's a very important use or place or source for videos and using videos. That is, using an endorsement to talk to other potential patients. Now, I want to spend a little time now talking about patient success stories. Now, you're watching me. I'm actually cruising through this website, the doctor in Houston, Texas. Listen to this lady. Now, this is the gallery you're looking at right now. Now, this video will have the doctor's ID appearing in it at the bottom. It starts off with his practice name. It's running no more than about a minute and a half, I think it is. She does something very powerful that you can't do with pictures, you can't do with words. Her enthusiasm about what she's doing is obviously all over her. She's dressed properly, she's been groomed, we've talked to her. The doctor's talked to her about how to dress would be fitting, and he has a place in his office where he does this. Now, I want you to watch what she does now. Now, you couldn't ask for too much more than this. Now, here's one that was done with a professional crew where we brought a videographer in. We had it scripted. We brought in about 5 or 6 patients, had it all done at one time. Now, this is more professional. Now, I like both, but I think that the one I'm encouraging right now is that you put together your own natural, easy, not necessarily sophisticated looking videos. There's music there as we watch. At the bottom you can see the doctor's identification there, her name, telephone number, and you can see this electricity in this person's reaction. So really, I don't think there's anything more powerful than a patient talking about why you're good. And here's a script that we use that lined things up. We had everything outlined for the doctor. The doctor, we gave him his script. The patients had their script. And this patient script is coming up in a moment. This is what you're going to actually get if you write me. And I'm only asking you to do one thing to get this, is I want you to give me a like on YouTube, or should we say a plus on YouTube and a like on Facebook. And I'm doing this not just to be self-serving. I'm doing this to show you that you have to step up the bat and ask people to help you. Don't leave it to them to know what to do. So what are some of the issues that you want to keep in mind about using videos? One, remember you're telling a story. You're telling your story. The link is going to be contained within something less than a minute and a half, in most cases. You want to be sure you're always concerned about branding at the beginning, at the end, and throughout the presentation. You want to be sure that you have disclaimers from the patients, because those patients that may be very happy today, something might happen down the road, and then you may have to wind up taking down your website or a website page or art that you've used their story in and you can't use any longer. So you want to have a disclaimer that talks about very clearly each one of those ways that video was being used or could be used. Copyright infringement is another area that I'm concerned about. Copyright meaning that you've taken a picture off of YouTube, you've taken a picture off of the internet, or you found the picture and you don't really know who created the picture, and you use that picture and you'll get sued. And there's one very aggressive collector of pictures right now, the Getty Museum right now. We've had had clients that have been sued for as much as $15,000, $20,000 for infringing on their pictures that they've captured. You see many of their pictures, by the way, in newspapers and magazines. That's their business. And then also SEO. When you're putting a video together from the start, you've got to begin to think that you're always looking at a search engine optimization result. And you want to find out what's in it for you. I talked about the willfulness for the patient. Now what's in it for you to use it? Now I'm going to show you some things in terms of how to think about that video once it's optimized on YouTube. Now, when your video is embedded on your website properly, which takes time, it's not a link, it takes time, that video is going to be optimized. There'll be links running to other pages, other videos, other words, even off the site and back to the site. And those back links and links make for better optimization and better positioning. But I want to talk about the benefits of YouTube first, and then I'll tell you about the downsides that you sometimes miss. Well, you get free hosting. Now, what does free quality hosting mean? It means you can create a video in an hour and see it playing on a website in the next hour with a link that you can send to somebody and they can find it and see it and play it. And no matter what format you recorded it on or what camera you recorded on, Google immediately converts it to a viewable video that can be seen by anyone. So that's a big benefit of using YouTube. And again, we're encouraging you to use YouTube, but not to use YouTube exclusively for each video. Each video should appear both on your website optimized and on YouTube optimized. Your videos will appear in search. As a matter of fact, you'll find, I'll give you an example in a moment, our last webinar that we did, highlights of that webinar, about 15 minutes of highlights, are now in search. If you were to do a search for marketing budgets for cosmetic surgeons or marketing budgets for plastic surgeons, you're most likely going to see in search our little video clip playing, and we're getting calls from that already, that quickly. And it's also on our website. And it'll soon wind up in the same collection of videos that is our version on our website, and their version will be seen in possibly the same YouTube sequence and on other, most likely to be seen in those other web serving organizations, which gives us good exposure. Because we tagged them for SEO, we've made sure the titles are SEO'd, and we've also created backlinks. So we've got a powerhouse going for us with someone else doing our heavy lifting. So let's look at how we did that. This happens to be the video for those of you that were there. And this is a setup right now. Before we launched this particular video, we made sure our title is correct and it had SEO, had a good description. We made sure that as a person was viewing it, there was a hyperlink where they click on this and they come back to our website. And we put search terms and words into that video's program so that, in fact, the video can wind up rising very quickly. And it did. Within a week, that video appeared on YouTube, and within a week, we've got some exposure from it. So it's not as easy as you think it is by just simply putting it on YouTube, because you put it there, YouTube makes their money, they get their advantage, but you've missed your advantage. And here's a client that you saw with the nice music in the background. She has her channel. Her channel has her samples of her work, has its number of views, so she knows where things are. Now, what we're talking about here is, sounds pretty good, but what are some of the downsides? Well, the first downside is you look pedestrian by having all your videos or having your videos on your website playing off of YouTube, meaning the icon, the average person down the street, they know what this means, YouTube, and they can see YouTube here at the bottom. So they say, oh, this doctor's not that sophisticated. He's doing the same thing I'm doing when I'm doing with my hobbies and so forth. So you got a pedestrian look, and I think that's a problem for someone that's selling premium services. You've lost your search engine power. You've helped Google by running it only, now I'm talking about only on YouTube. If you're also running it on your website and you've done the things I've talked about, you're getting some low-lying fruit from YouTube because they're distributing it for you and you're getting exposure. But if you've done your SEO work on your website, you're getting the SEO power. Now, you're also supporting another brand in more ways than one, you'll see in a minute. You're supporting the YouTube brand, but YouTube has permission by your giving them your videos, and they're doing something for you for free. They have the permission to not only put advertisement on that video, but maybe even advertise your competitor. Because when your competitor is buying remarketing, or your competitor is buying marketing through Google, they put the ads on top of all appropriate videos. So we call that a piggyback. So what's happening is YouTube is piggybacking your videos. You've lost control of the physical. Now here's an example of what I'm talking about. Now notice what happens. An advertisement pops up. That could be one of your competitors. I did shopping for cosmetic facility tours, and look what I got. So what we've been talking about and we're trying to bring to your attention is there are some best practices for optimizing videos so they're creating maximum engagement and getting a result. And that's what this presentation has been all about. Now, if you need any help, we encourage you to give us a ring. My number's at the bottom there, 213-407-5514. That's a direct line to me. And I want to tell you that I very much appreciate this opportunity. Don't forget to give me a plus on Google Plus, and